and welcome back to the Faith and Culture Show. I'm Catherine Camp, the hostess for this show. This is where we learn about everything going on in our culture, everything from economics to politics to how to take care of your family and so much more. Today, I have a very interesting person for the show. Her name is Jackee Andrews. She works with TPUSA FAITH. If you remember a while back, we had someone else on from TPUSA. And so I'm really excited to bring her on because she is more regional. And I really want you to take some notes so that you can start to engage our culture with conversations that count, conversations with an eternal perspective. Hi, Jackee. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know you're incredibly busy. Taking care of families and then taking care. TPUSA is a big deal. So I want you to feel free to tell everybody all about it. When we say TP, I hope everybody realizes it's Turning Point. Yes. It's an organization started by Charlie Kirk, and I'm sure he had friends to start it with. So fill us in on who you are.
My name is Jackee Andrews, as Catherine shared. And first of all, thank you so much, Kathy, for having me. I appreciate you even reaching out and wanting me to come and share this space with you and share my thoughts and about my work and just even hopefully encourage somebody to step up and get out of the sidelines and get into the game. But I was born and raised in Kenya. So I am a transplant from Nairobi, Kenya, and have lived in America for over 20 years. I actually went to college in Kenya before I came here. I got my bachelor's from Kenyatta University in Nairobi. It was a environmental planning and management degree, but it really was a politicized sort of degree. It was very much in the political. It was supposed to drive me into the political arena, focusing on environmental policy and things like. It was a public policy degree. And then came to the United States, started a family. Then much later, got my master's degree from Regent University in public administration, and have been in the public square all my life. Even when I was in Kenya, I've been in the public square. Looking back is when, 2020 vision, looking back is when I see that path was always the path that God had called me to. Mm-hmm. Being in the church was, born again when I was a little child. Well, I was 11 when I got saved, and the Lord began to work on me. Even before that, he was working on me. And so I've always loved the people of God, loved the church. In fact, I say, Psalm 16 is my way of really expressing how I feel about the body of Christ. It's like the saints, that says, for the saints in the land, they are the excellent ones in whom is all my delight. That's, I'm happiest in the midst of the saints of God. And so this work that I'm doing is very much a sweet spot, the intersection between the political sphere and the Christian, the religious sphere. So it gives me great pleasure that God saw it fit to allow me to work in this space. And the reason why I work in this space, one of the things that God challenged me with when I first came to America, was that I needed to focus. I needed to stop living in two places at the same time. And I needed to just focus my attention to where he was taking me and not thinking about where I left. Not that I'm forgetting where I left, but he wanted me to focus enough to be able to do something. And, and he used Jeremiah 29, verse 7, where Jeremiah told the exiles who were sent to Babylon to care about the welfare of the city where God sent them to. And because in the welfare of the city that they were sent to was their welfare. So I needed to pray for the country that God had brought me to, and I needed to seek the welfare of the country that God had brought me to. And I
that's a
loved it.
beautiful example of how God tells us to, if wherever we are, we're supposed to pray for the people. But I think a lot of Christians here, Jackee, would find it a little bit, they don't understand that politics is it. We as Christians, we're supposed to step into that arena, because if our voice isn't there, then how do you expect the culture to look, at least with a modicum of morality? So tell us, what you've learned and what you see as someone who was raised, God was guiding you the whole time in the political sphere, and you're a Christian at the same time.
Yes. Well, for me, it has never been something that I separate the two, because from my biblical understanding of who I am, the identity that God has given, my identity is in God as an
Right.
individual, and I'm in the family of God, and the mandate is clear. The Great Commission is very clear. When Jesus told his disciples, he says, go into all the world and make disciples of the nations, teaching them everything I taught you. Well, everything that God has taught us is not just spiritual, it's social, it's economic, it's about life, it's about how to do life. And the benefit of seeing how God, even God set up, helped the founders to set up the United States Constitution and the United States as a nation. It was the hand of God guiding that process. No nation had been formed like that before that.
That's right.
And I
Yeah.
don't even think post after that. But the point is, the call of God to get into every world, every sphere. When he says go into all the world, I don't think it's just, he means just geographical places and spaces. He means into every sphere. So if you're called as a doctor, bring God into that sphere. And we see that all throughout the scriptures when Jesus says, you're the light of the world, you're the salt of the world. And then he says, the kingdom is like this. It's like leaven that a woman takes and makes dough, and it causes a whole dough to rise. So the kingdom inside of me is to cause to bring the salt, the light, and the yeast that causes wherever I am to flourish. So if God has gifted you to be a nurse or a woodworker, whatever it is, that sphere of influence, you're supposed to bring all of you, who you are, the gifts, the talents, the spiritual gifts, everything that you are, and steward those within that sphere. And then at the end of the day, and grow actually, and multiply. Because again, the initial mandate for man in Genesis 1:27-28, he made them male and female, and then he blessed them and told them, go into he's given them the world, the earth.
Yeah.
Fill it, multiply, and replenish the earth. And that's the same thing. If you look, that's what he said to Adam and Eve. And then when God had to start over with Noah, same thing. He blessed in Genesis 9, he blessed Noah and his sons, and he said, multiply and replenish the earth.
That's right.
And then when when he called Abraham, it was the same. He was told, it was all about multiply yourself. And again, even with the exiles that Jeremiah is talking to, he told them, do not diminish, have children, marry, give your daughters in marriage, plant vineyards, and multiply. Do not diminish, he told them. So God is
That's
all
right.
about multiplying what he has put in you. So how can God multiply what he's put in us? And then we go into a corner and hide. We the light, Jesus said, whoever lights a lamp does not put it in a bushel, they put it up where everybody can see.
That's right.
And politics is about how we live with one another, how we take care of the business of the city. We cannot remove ourselves from that. There's just no way.
Hey, thanks for watching the Faith and Culture Show. If you'd like to continue this particular episode, please go to the Rumble link below or click on the QR code and join me on the free speech platform over there. Look for the name of the episode and start about the 10-minute mark. I hope to see you there because it's a good one.